One. You may remember the other day I made a card for a friend of mine called Jenny, who was going to be 90. Well, we went to her birthday lunch and it was lovely. Beautiful lunch in a restaurant, drinks provided. So I just wanted to send a message to say thank you. But there's a secondary message for this particular card, because some months ago, Jenny and her husband had a fire in their apartment. They were in it at the time. They weren't hurt, but there's a lot of smoke damage, and they had to move out. They moved, they went to stay with their son in Taipei for a few weeks, and while they were there, she had a fall and finished up in ICU in hospital. So she's had a bit of a basin fall, but they are due to move back into their apartment this week. So I thought I would make a welcome home and a thank you for the two occasions. So I looked through my dies and I found a couple of dies that I thought might do. I've got various housey things, but they live in an apartment complex. It's a sheltered accommodation. So I thought the several floors, this would do. I don't particularly want to do white on white, but I looked through my drawers to see if there's anything I could use for this piece at the back. And I found this, and I think this was supposed to be green in the background, but my printer, one of the colours had run out. But I thought perhaps some of that behind might look quite nice. So I thought I'd cut a square out of this, pop that onto it, I've cut two. The back one has still got the bits in it. Oh, almost. There's one there missing. I'll have to see if I can find one to fit. They just fly everywhere. But I'll do it now. Put some, there's a bit there, that might do it, might be it. I'll put some tape on the back to hold it in, but they do just fly everywhere, don't they? Let's see if this is one of them. Looks like it might be, doesn't it? That's a bit of luck, wasn't it? Right, I'm going to stick some tape over this just to keep all of these bits in. I cut this one out using my precision plate, because often when I use my precision plate, the die pieces stay in the back of the die. Oh Lord, there's another one just come out, look. Let's stick that onto there, and I'll put some more over the bottom bit. Have I got to do some down there? Can't really tell. This tape is lovely. It doesn't show, but it's difficult to see if it's actually there. I think a few people have been enjoying having a little look around my craft room. I thought I would finally share a few pictures, but it's all a mishmash. It's a bit like Topsy. It just kind of growed, you know. It was at one time it was my son's bedroom, but you know, he's now 47, so he moved out when he was 18 or something like that. He had a gap year. He went to university. Spent 4 years at Imperial College, got a degree, went to Cambridge, did another 4 years, got another degree, got his PhD, and then he decided he'd like to carry on being a student. So he stayed at Cambridge and he became a medical doctor, which is what he is now. So he was a good old student for a very long time. Anyway, this was his room. What, I'm digressing. This was his room, and I just adapted things that were kind of here. I brought in some of my daughter's. I think eventually my son's furniture got, I don't know, sent to the Heart Foundation or something. And my daughter's furniture took its place. as my craft stuff. I'm going to just make these windows to give a bit of a yellowish colour, so as if there's a bit of light going on inside. Right. Doesn't matter about going over the lines because I'm going to put the other image over the top. It was a bit of luck finding that tiny window, wasn't it? Right. Now I'll glue this one and we'll stick it on top. Then I'll cut some of that blue stuff. I thought it looked a bit kind of sky-like and almost cloud-like, really. So let's just pop a bit of glue around this. This is my sticks to anything. What is it called? 3D PVA glue, which comes with this nifty little nozzle, which dispenses a beautifully fine stream of glue. And when it came, I didn't know what to do with it. I read the instructions, but I still couldn't work out what you were supposed to do. But I pierced this plastic bit here. I pierced it with one of these pins. There was you can buy a little pack of pins from Sticks to Anything, and then screwed the metal nib on, if you call it a nib. I'm not quite sure what you call it really. And then use the pin as a stopper, and it actually works really well. So there's my bunch of houses. I'm going to put that onto one of these, but I think I will try some of this blue card. Now, where do we fancy? It looks like petals are flying around, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? And clouds and things. So if we have it along here somewhere, I'll have to cut it down a bit so that it'll fit through my die cutting machine. So where do we want? Let's just have a look. Sort of about there, perhaps. Okay, let's try this. Oh. So this weekend we will be going off on holiday. We're going on a cruise to the Caribbean. So I'm a huge favour to ask of people, and that is, while I'm away, obviously I won't be making videos. I shall be sitting on my balcony and, you know, taking in the sights and all this kind of stuff. So I would be absolutely grateful if you could take a look back at some of my previous videos. I've been doing them for such a long time. Well, it seems like a long time now. So I am sure that there must be some that you kind of haven't seen. So if you could do that and remember to give them a thumbs up when you've looked at them, it will keep the algorithm for my channel going, so that, you know, lots more people will be able to see the videos, and that would help me enormously. So if you could do that, I would be eternally grateful. I think that needs a little frame. I did on the computer, welcome home and thank you. So I think that's going to go along the bottom, but that looks like it needs a little black mount, doesn't it really? It looks a bit insipid by itself. Let me get some black. Cut a piece of this off, I think. What's that look like? I think that'd be quite nice, don't you? And how about my, let's have a look at my, which one's to cut this off. Look at my sentiment. Off the bottom. And a bit more. Let's get my tweezers. There we are. Get more off that end too. I don't normally do this. I normally die cut things, but I thought I would trim it this time. Still needs a bit more off the bottom, doesn't it? Should be using my one with the negative side, shouldn't I? Like I was talking about last week. That's got it. I remember when I was a kid, I used to have plaits. My mother wouldn't let me have short hair. I used to have plaits. I had hair long enough to sit on it at one time. Anyway, I used to have these plaits done in various ways. And I had a fringe, what the Americans would call bangs. And I thought, my fringe needs cutting. So I got out the scissors and I started cutting. And I cut one side. Oh, I thought it's not straight, it's not level. So I think I'm going to have to cut the other side. And so I started cutting the other side. And, oh, I thought it's not level. Need a bit more off that side. And I kept cutting and cutting and cutting and cutting until I had kind of a stump of a stump of hair at the front of my face. Looked dreadful. And of course, what happened? The school photographer came the next day to take everyone's individual pictures. So they used to, in the year dot, they used to get like three pictures. I'm going to have to do this with my other trimmer. I can't do this on this one. There used to be 3 pictures the same, so that you can, keep one for the family, give one to one granny, give one to another granny, and there's your 3. And they were always on approval. You didn't have to buy them, but it was in the days when they weren't all wrapped beautifully and all this kind of stuff. They didn't come in a package like they do these days. And the teacher gave us a bit of, a bit of paper to wrap around these photographs and said, oh, you can put your name on if you like. So anyway, I wrapped this piece of paper around these photographs. I started to write my name on it. And of course, with a pencil, writing on the paper over the photographs, the indentation of my name went all over the photographs. Anyway, went home, took them home, showed my mother. She was aghast, absolutely aghast at this dreadful, dreadful picture of me. I'll see if I can find it actually. With my hair, there was this stump of fringe at the front. And she said, well, because you've ruined the photograph, because you've got a dent of your name all over it, I'm going to have to buy it. And it looks awful. So that was me when I was a kid, with my first attempt at hair cutting. But, oh dear, I don't know. It's funny how you remember these things, isn't it, really? Anyway, there we go. Let's just pop this I'm not absolutely keen on the colour of these windows, I have to say, and I don't quite know what to do with that because I've stuck that down now. Welcome home and thank you. I just don't like it. Perhaps if I cut the house out in black, perhaps that would make a difference. Let's just see. I just don't like it at the moment, so let's see if we can rectify the problem. It might look different but with the white. I just don't like the white building. Let's just see. Right. Pokey tool. I think these were with a magazine or something, these images. Let's just get all the bits out. There we go. Let's see what that looks like. That's better, isn't it? Right, let's just stick it together and then I can get this organised and sent to my friend. I think they're moving in on Thursday, so hopefully it will be there for them when they arrive. But they've had to have new carpets, complete new decoration. I think one of the windows was slightly damaged, but it's just fortunate that they're okay, really. And she's recovered from her problems that she had when she was out in Taipei. So there we go. Just need to push that down. There's a little bit of glue showing. There we go. Get it off. Perfect. That's lovely. That can go on there. Yes, that's fine. Okay. My tub that I keep my wet baby wipes in is actually made to store half a grapefruit in your fridge. Made by a company called Lakeland in the UK. And I thought that's going to... Well, I had them in the kitchen, actually, for its original purpose. But I thought that's going to do nicely. I just don't want to throw away wet wipes after one use. Because if they've just had a tiny little, foray out onto the desk, I don't really want to throw them straight away. It just seems a waste of money. So I thought putting it in one of those boxes would be a good idea. Somebody asked me about it after I showed the pictures of my craft room, and I looked at the actual box and it was absolutely filthy. It had black marks and goodness knows what all over it. So I started to try and wipe it with a baby wipe. Didn't do any good at all. So I used my essential oil. Bit of that on. Wiped it around with a paper towel. That got the black marks off, and then just quickly wiped it with the baby wipe afterwards. Job done. Came out beautifully. Right. Welcome home. And thank you. I'm just wondering whether to put those onto foam tape. I may do, I'll see. But I hope they'll be very happy this time in their apartment. And if you, as I say, while I'm away for the following 2 weeks, if you could perhaps check out some of my older videos, that would be absolutely wonderful. So as ever, thank you very much, and I may see you tomorrow, depending if I can get my packing done. Thanks so much.